thank you so much for joining Mr. Raghunandan Jagdish, your CEO of Nandan GSE. Thank you for joining us on Motor India Trans Report.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Rajesh, for hosting.
So,
honor to be talking to you.
Correct. As we are aware, you are into this lifting space in the industry where truck-mounted application are now being readily accepted, and there are different applications that you have delivered. Take us through some of your products that you are working on just before the lockdown, and how Indian market is getting ready to accept these products. Name them, and what is the niche application that you are working for. Please highlight those.
Right. So Nandan is a 30-year young company. This was founded by Mr. J.C. Kumar, and we've grown along with that. We are about 150 people today. So right from design to service, we are able to give solutions to the customer.
Correct.
Our way of offering systems was always about knowing what does the customer want to accomplish and making solutions for that. So I'm not like whatever we give or bespoke, you want one made, we can make that.
Correct.
So primarily lifting systems on trucks. That was our forte. We make this product called the catering high lift that takes food into the plane. It lifts off in front of the plane and you can take the trolleys inside. Proudly, we can say even today we have a 95% market share on that particular product. Customers like TajSATS, Ambassadors, Oberoi, Sky Gourmet, the Casino Group, all over India, in every airport around India, we have our trucks that work with them. This is a refrigerated body that can take up to 3 tons payload.
Okay.
And we've also exported about 100 of these on the Indian prime movers like Tata, Ashok Leyland, and Eicher.
Okay.
And all around Asia and Africa.
When was this?
We've given it all around Asia and Africa.
Okay. No, this was recent project?
We've been consistently doing exports for the last 15 years, yes.
Okay.
Then we do a lot of lifting systems for tunneling industry. So in the tunnels, we make something called a man lift on which the ventilator fans, the bracings and all are put up. And again, there we can proudly say every hydroelectric project in India would at least have one of our scissor lifts. That's the name of the product.
Correct.
We've been responsive to customer needs and done bespoke ones. Like there was a customer who wanted a bridge under bridge inspection equipment.
Okay.
So this is a full-fledged truck that can rotate, go vertical, go down.
Wow.
So the truck is on top of the bridge and it can access underneath up to a 15-meter span. So we made 2 of these for a customer that they're using on national highways, making the bridges safe for repairs. Then we've done animal ambulances, truck-mounted tail lifts, for workshop vans. So for BrahMos right now, we were making a few workshop vans. We make missile loaders for loading into the aircraft, whatever you need to load, unload. So we've also done armoring. So we made India's biggest armored truck certified to NIJ level 3. This is made for the DRDO. We had made 7 trucks. They're 12 meters long, with which can take a 751 bullet and still survive it. So we always work with this. We listen to the customer.
Sure.
We understand what their problem and pain points are.
Sure.
And from there we are able to give them a solution.
Got it. So I have a specific question when it comes to, you mentioned about listening to your customers. Now, when we are all aware the Indian customers, when we talk about the Indian customers, be it the infrastructure sector, construction sector customers, they are always pressed for pricing, and it always is a challenge because they are also negotiating with their end customers. So how do you bridge this gap between cost-effective product as well as an energy-efficient product that can meet the demand?
See, I have a very firm belief that is, ingrained in all of us. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. So, when you think about it deeply, you can buy something for cheap, but in the long term, it will give you problems. We go and educate the customer saying, if you invest upfront in CapEx, your OpEx goes down dramatically, your quality is up, your downtime is reduced to marginal. The amount of money you spend on spare parts and accidents that can happen to you tomorrow, they are mitigated completely.
Sure. Do you have a few instances or examples about certain applications or products that you would want to highlight where you have done this with your customers coming from top of your mind? Yeah.
So I think in the man lift industry, which was used in tunneling, they used to buy local cheap products because they felt that it was only used for one or two projects and then they throw it out.
Okay.
But when we went to them, we convinced them saying, look, we do epoxy painting. My bushes are lubrication free. So even if you park it for a year and later on you use it, you can reuse it again. So customer realized that by paying, let's say, 40% more compared to a garage product, our product may be 40% more, but he was able to utilize the life over 10 years and with minimal maintenance. And in a few of those cases where they used the cheap things, they had collapses where people lost their hands and legs. So in a safety, when you need to put a price on safety, safety is priceless. So the 40%, whatever they've invested upfront, I always tell a client, always look at my equipment as an investment and not an expenditure. Because of this, if they're able to complete their entire project 2 weeks before time, don't you think that the LDs that they were paying can get reduced? Don't you think that instead of 3 people, if you're able to use one person, you're going to save out on the time? Don't you think the maintenance downtime, if I'm giving you lubrication free systems, you don't grease for a month, next month when you operate, you don't need to change the pin because it broke. My pins will last for the life of the equipment. Whereas somebody who puts gunmetal and you don't grease it for a month, later on, 1 year later, if you want to use it, when they're rotating, the pin can crack and break and cause 10 other problems.
Correct.
So we always give an engineering solution. So I am not competing. So when there are two kinds of custom, in fact, three. One is somebody who always takes value. So in defense and aviation, we always believe the customer understands what is the value of safety. The second is a customer who's willing to listen.
Okay.
When we sit across, when we talk to him, when we explain, he's willing to listen, and maybe he might still buy a cheap equipment, which is fine. But then he's a good customer for me because when he understands what I have told him, and then later on he experiences the problems that will come across by buying. Like there's another saying I always quote to my customer, saying the bitterness of bad quality will last much longer than the sweetness of low price. So that is what the customers who's listening will understand. Then the third kind of customer is बोलता है अपने को सबसे सस्ता मांगता है. So we kind of gauge him, profile him, and then we walk away. He says, sir, with complete we have complete respect for you, whatever you're doing. You've been doing this for the last 20 years, but we think the world is changing. The driver who is the operator of your equipment has a big role to play. So if you need to give him an air conditioning, you need to give him a better cab, you need to give him tools and sensors and everything. You need to do that because at that end, he moves away from a hamali to an operator.
Correct.
I'll give you one example. Like a customer used to send 4 people for unloading a truck. It's a big logistic chain. They used to take a lot of time. Unfortunately, I can't name them. They used to take a lot of time to load the trucks and a lot of time to unload the trucks. So we went to them with a simple solution called a tail lift.
Okay.
So they invested, let's say, about 4 lakh rupees onto this. But then the benefit from that was that they were able to send only one driver. Even cleaner was not required because now, as per RTO norms, you don't require a cleaner. So with one driver, he was able to take a hand pallet truck, take everything on a pallet, move it into the truck in and out all by himself, deliver it at the customer's end inside, take a signature from him. When I was talking to the driver, we have a little interview we did with him. He says, Saab, for the first time, I feel like an equipment operator.
Wow.
So when I went back to the client and spoke to their logistic arm, so he actually said that, when we invested this equipment and put it into it, the diesel consumption has reduced. This guy is driving much better.
Wow.
He's able to deliver better throughput. He's being very careful. His knocking, his accidents, his denting on the vehicle has reduced. He himself takes a cloth and cleans the vehicle. The ownership has come in because we convinced him that your owner has invested into this equipment for your upgrade.
So this was a hydraulic tail lift, is it?
This was a hydraulic tail lift, yes.
Oh.
So that pilot went successfully well and the customer loved it. He realized that, this is the value that you get. So if you look at 4 lakhs and you think 300 kg less payload in every trip, but then when you look at it in the larger picture, it will work out. So my competition's tail lift weight will be 500 kgs.
Sure.
My tail lift weight is 300 kgs. That differential 200 kgs is happening because I have done a better design. We have invested into tooling and dies. We have invested into better quality material. Like we use a lot of Veldox into our things. So look-wise, it will look the same. Somebody might say it's the same. Somebody paints enamel, we paint epoxy or polyurethane. So there is an upgrade. So a customer who's willing to listen and comes to us remains with us for life. So these tail lifts, all over India, Praxair, Linde, Air Liquide for oxygen deliveries and whatever else. They're all using us. And they used to import it because they used to never buy local. They used to import it from Europe. But now they've decided that when this is available out here, why not buy it from India?
Wonderful, wonderful. Elaborate more on your manufacturing strength. You said design to delivery, you have invested a lot. You have also, given examples of difference like weight reduction. While competition may have a 500 kg, you have a 300 kg. About the paint, about the tooling. So elaborate what made you invest so much into tooling and designing and manufacturing strength. Did you take cognizance from the European guys, or did you partner with somebody, or how did this learning happen?
That's a good question, Rajesh. So like I studied in the US. I did my master's in mechanical engineering in the US, and then when I came back in 2003 and joined my father's business, I saw the entire Indian industry so rudimentary in what we do. Like the tail lift was a concept where I used to see every truck used to be fitted with a tail lift, and here I could not understand. At that point of time, maybe the market was not mature enough and manpower was cheap, and manpower was seen as expendable. But now with various schemes coming in, people not able to come in, Mangera is making sure the migrant worker is not coming down to the cities and working in the factories. When things like that, throughput has gone up tremendously. So when people realize that, Hamali's son will not become Hamali. Like when we walk the talk, we ourselves have a few Hamali guys who come and help us out. We call them mamas. So a guy's son is one of them has done an MBA and the daughter has gone and studied medicine. So when you see that kind of empowerment happens, and we work with our people, we supplement a lot of them with books that they require for studies. We give them a lot of scholarships. We invest into their learning and skilling. So when that upgrade was keeping on happening, and I like traveling to factories worldwide. When we go and see factories, I talk to them. Unfortunately or fortunately, we don't have a foreign collaboration with anybody yet, but a lot of friends are there. So my benchmark is not the guy who's making it in a roadside garage. My benchmark is that European guy who's got robotic arms and robotic technology, and we are working in a competitive as well as a professional world where we can talk that language. I understand that language. I empathize with those kind of guys. So when we do this, it makes sense that we grow, and we will only grow with investment, because you cannot expect the customer to pay for all your upgrades. So when it is talking about continual learning, we are not learning because ISO mandates it. I have invested lakhs and lakhs into getting trainers coming and talking to us, coaching us in technical as well as other aspects. Sales, we invest so much to learn from world leaders. Like I have personally done courses with Brian Tracy, Tony Robbins. I feel investment in knowledge and learning is the only way a company can grow, and it's never an expense. A lot of people बोलते हैं, अरे हमारा बहुत खर्चा होता है ट्रेनिंग में, वो आदमी ट्रेनिंग लेके भागता है. But what you need to remember is that if you don't train him and he remains, that's a bigger problem.
Sure.
You're Very taking nice. Care of something.
Correct. So now take us through your shop floor. It's difficult to kind of just get the entire picture of what you are saying. But if I have to get into specifics, like what are the lines that you have, and how many shifts the contractual laborers work at your factory, and what is the total manufacturing capacity that you have, how many factories that you have, please elaborate on those.
Right. So one of the things that, like I said, we came from scratch. My father came to Bombay. His first job was an attendant in a petrol pump, even though he was a diploma in mechanical engineering. In 1960s, there were not enough jobs. So his first job, he worked for 6 months in a petrol pump. And so that keeps us rooted. We understand, what is the pain, what is the aspiration of the guys who are partnered with us. So my average age of employees is close to about 10.5 years, even today. The company is over 150 people. That's the core strength. So two things. One is people, other is process. So people, we always kill them, we upgrade them, we motivate them. We have something called an assembly that happens every Monday. So regardless of where I am, I always try to be there, and I always get my leaders to talk to the people. So all of us get together, we share a story, we sing the national anthem together, we do some breathing exercises, we do clapping, and things like that. So it begins from there. Our entire process is driven on an online ERP, which we've developed from custom ERP. So right from the pre-sale process of talking to the customer to getting the order, to getting a sales order done, to making it a project and till delivering it. The entire thing is captured onto the ERP, which works on my mobile, tablet, as well as a computer.
Okay.
A lot of places, customers and vendors are also integrated into the process. Like a customer can go online and know where his project is exactly all about. Every week it goes across. We have a very strong process ownership. So we, for every project, so for us, let's say customer orders 5 high lifts, that is called one project.
Okay.
So, or he orders 1 vehicle, that is called one project. So for every project, I have a marketing owner, that is a guy who's gone to the customer and talked to them.
Sure.
We have a job owner, that is from production, who's been the one. We have a planning owner. We have a design owner. Design owner is a designer who's working on that. And we have a QC owner, that is that QC guy who's responsible for the job.
Correct.
So these 5 people form a cell for that project, and everything is noted onto the ERP so that it forms a documentation. We do bespoke, like I said, so we don't really have an assembly line. Right from starting to ending, we break up the processes, and then machining, a lot of it is outsourced.
Okay.
Vending, a lot of it is outsourced.
Oh,
and
okay.
you wouldn't believe it, like over 150 people, most of them are on company payroll.
Okay.
I only have about 10 people on contract.
Okay.
And even then, the 10 people who are on contract have been with us for a long time, and they get their PF, ESIC, Mediclaim. The company has taken a Mediclaim cover for them, not today, but about since the last 10 years, in addition to ESIC.
Okay.
So we take care of the people. So for us, there is no distinction between a contractor and an employee.
Got it. Got it.
Contractor is just a dignified supervisor for us.
Sure.
So I am not into body shops.
Yeah. So just to get the clarification on what you said, you have metal bending, welding, and painting in-house, and machining and
bending and machining is outsourced.
Okay.
Bending we don't do at all here.
Fine.
Machining, I just, in my entire thing, I just have 2 lathes.
Yeah.
I have 2 lathes, a plasma cutting machine, and welding. Welding, 100% everything is done in-house in the company.
Okay. Okay.
Bending, we bend up to like 25 mm Veldox plate up to 6 meter length. So we have, all my vendors are onboarded with NDAs, with the quality standards, and that is documented. So putting a capability like that. So again, the same value and price what I talk about. I see value in working with a partner for whom that is a front-end job, rather than putting another machine at my end where it becomes a back-end job for my team.
Correct. Correct.
Painting is always done in-house.
Okay. So the entire assembly also then is obviously here in-house. So where are you located? Where is the plant?
So we have 2 plants, one in Navi Mumbai, that is Turbe in MIDC.
Okay.
And one more in Khopoli, halfway to Pune.
Yes.
Total it's about 65,000 square feet. And yeah, so that's between the 2 of them we have done. And we have a traveling service team also, which makes sure we go to the customer's end and we do service.
Okay.
We even go right up to like remote parts of Northeast. The customer, like even defense has signed on AMC with us.
Speak something about the sourcing of raw materials, which actually is again the key of ensuring that the right quality is maintained, or what you promise is delivered. So
Correct.
What is that you do that ensures quality in sourcing the raw materials?
So we always buy main material and not rolling, especially in steel. And there is a traceability that we maintain right from the TC of the material till what plate has been cut out of that profile. That traceability is maintained in our ERP. Okay. Whenever we get a new vendor, we always do a trial piece. We send it to the NABL certified lab. A test coupon will be sent, and then only we can take it up for production. Okay. Otherwise, the production will not be taken up at all for that material.
Correct. Correct.
The quality will keep on checking dimensional, material, chemical, random checks. There is a 10% sample test that they take. Then we manufacture, QC again documents. And when we deliver, we have almost a 200, 220 point checklist, which is a QC has to run through, document it, and then only the sign off will be done saying this is fit to be delivered. So I say 90% of the cases, customer doesn't even visit us for the final inspection. They believe us so much that when we give them a 1-page self-certified letter, and most of them, like on those key projects, I sign off. I wouldn't do that unless there is evidence of internal testing. So we have a thick file that is made for each project, and that is reviewed by our PPC VP. Once he signs, then I will sign on it blindly. And again, I do audits on those. So a customer who comes primarily comes because they want to see how it's made.
Got
not
it.
really
Got it.
for inspection or whatever else.
Got it. So I can get the entire, vision that your father started with, and now that you carried it forward, of providing quality lifting solution. Now
Correct.
that when you have achieved it so far, what are the new opportunities that you think are interesting for India as a market? And you can touch upon the total industry volumes of that particular application. One thing that comes to my mind is something like a wheelchair assist or a wheelchair lift.
Correct.
Then you may add something that you have seen recent development or changes in tail lifts or knuckle boom cranes. So these are some of the areas that Indians so far were looking at getting it from Europe. Now,
Correct.
does the reverse migration that is happening, and people will be looking for more operational efficiency in terms of automation, how
Correct.
much benefiting or advantages this will be for your company, and what will be your medium to long term plan to achieve those? I know it's
Okay.
a broad question, but you can structure and answer it.
Sure. I'll share screen so that it becomes
Please.
easier.
Sure.
Visible?
Yeah, visible.
Yeah. So on the
For
aviation
solutions and aviation ground support equipment, this are the products. Aerospace and defense products are basically used for handling and moving things.
Sorry. So on the aviation GSE front, GSE is ground support equipment that, okay. On the aviation GSE front, that is a ground support equipment, there is a move towards electrification because it moves within a certain space and other things. Till now, people were waiting because it's a capex. They were not looking at an opex. Now, with aviation in downtown today, we still don't know where this can go towards, but there was a growing trend towards greenification of airports.
Got
I
it.
think it's just a temporary hurdle today that it will be a hiccup. But in the
Mhm.
long term, we are looking to convert all these diesel generated vehicles into electric. So we have
Wonderful.
already worked on creating a prime mover, a battery pack, IoT device that is working and going ahead. So this is definitely something that is first off. In the
Okay.
aerospace and defense field, we made electric vehicles, lifters, movers. So in fact, today we are launching indigenous truck-mounted crane, knuckle
Mhm.
boom crane.
Mhm.
So that is there is a exhibition called the SIDM CII, MSME meet. So
Okay.
there we are making a truck-mounted crane, and that's
Okay.
being launched right from 2-ton meter up to 50-ton meter,
Got it.
indigenously done. So
Mhm.
there we are working on self-propelled scissor lifts, big heavy lifts like 100 tons. So nobody's ever heard about a 100-ton scissor lift. We are
Got
working
it.
on that. The idea is that you have a fully loaded, iron ore mine, and
Mhm.
in that you get a Volvo tipper truck. So today
Okay.
that when it has to load it into the railway wagons, they
Mhm.
come and empty it into the platform. Then the JCB has to pick it up and put it inside.
Got
So
it.
it's multiple handling. What we
Mhm.
are doing is now this loaded tipper truck will climb onto the scissor lift and lift up, and then from there you can tip it into the wagon directly.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we could really, really look to optimize things out there. And of course, the army keeps coming up with new challenges. We
Mhm.
are always building up on that. We recently did a ASRS system for missiles
Okay.
handling, and we have handling systems and solutions which are used in plant,
Okay.
which is like various systems. So one
Mhm.
of the big things that we are doing out here is a container tilter. This
Mhm.
can pick up a container from a trailer, lift it and tilt it so that you can fill things in bulk there as well
Got
as
it.
discharge it in bulk. So
Got
we are
it.
working with the sugar industry, the minerals, iron ore, whatever needs to get imported or go into inland transport. We are working on that.
Fine.
So truck loading is a really big segment because today there are no manpowers available. So
Correct.
the tail lifts that we have, we are now ready to work with the channel partners.
Mhm.
For example, one of the big things we felt was every bodybuilder looks at another bodybuilder with a lot of distrust. Because if
Got
a
it.
bodybuilder calls me and says, I need one,
Mhm.
earlier it used to be like, Arey, mera design leke chori karega.
Got
That
it.
used to be the thought. But now I
Yeah.
think that is changing where we are working with bodybuilders. We are gladly giving it to them. We are giving them support on how to fit it, how to do that. So, for example, if somebody is in Jamshedpur, it doesn't make sense for his truck to be sent to my location. So
Yeah.
we send the kit and we guide him maybe by sending one person how to fit it up.
Got
So
it.
once that starts getting pushed more and more, that can be a really big field of work that we are doing.
True,
And
true.
car parking, of course, we do. So
Wonderful. Yeah.
the industries where they're working at is like really, really wide.
Really wide.
And
Yeah.
the innovation that we've been doing is, always seen by customers.
Mhm.
So we are doing work in electric vehicles. We are doing work in converting a diesel to electric, which I think could be a big game changer, especially at these times.
Correct. Correct.
Because reduction of fuel price is
Mhm.
not going to happen in the immediate term. So
Oh.
whereas solar as well as other non-conventional energy cost will go down.
Mm.
So we think electrification is a big deal. We are making lighter and lighter bodies. So even for applications, working with the fiberglass, working with sandwich panels, working
Okay.
with even carbon composites, so
Mhm.
that per trip payload reduces.
Sure.
We're making cool dollies for moving
Mm.
material in a cool manner. Truck mounted cranes, lot of numbers of truck mounted cranes, tail lifts, knuckle boom lifts,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So that's all in the pipeline. And
Correct.
when we are talking, so in this, one of the things that I believe a lot in is consultative selling, which I believe you need to talk to the customer to understand what is his problem area.
Correct.
We are talking with customers, they understand that today the problem could be that why should you transport a bulk sugar? If you consider sugar mill,
Mhm.
they're making the sugar in bulk from sugarcane.
Yeah.
They're keeping it in silos. They're packing it in gunny bags.
Yeah.
They're putting it on trucks. It is traveling 700 kilometers. It is coming to a, let's say, a cold drink manufacturer, soft drink manufacturer. They take these, put it into storage. Like they
Correct.
have a big warehouse and other things there.
Yeah.
And after that, they again take this back, tear it, and put it into the hopper. So something that is made in bulk, something is consumed in bulk, but all that is in between is waste. So
Correct.
that
Correct.
Muda is what we are trying to help customers, mitigate. Where we are launching our container tilters there. In fact, today
Wonderful.
itself at 4 p.m.
Mm.
we are going to launch it out.
Wow.
Like we said, two products: container tilter
Mm.
and truck-mounted cranes. Fully
Wonderful.
made in India is what we are going to showcase to the world.
Stunning, stunning. I mean, the products that you have and that the range that you showcase, really astonishing for someone who is in this industry, and really looking up to and looking forward to the products that you deliver and produce. I also have a twofold question in terms of your focus area. Is it sometimes difficult to then focus when you can offer everything? What is your expertise? Like sometimes you focus on aerospace and defense. You also have truck products, lifting products on shop floor. Where do
Correct.
you focus?
So my focus goes back to our mission statement, which we are very clear about.
Mm.
My mission is to improve my customers' productivity, performance, and safety by
Wow.
helping them save time, money, and effort,
Mm.
and always being paranoid about my quality, reliability, and after-sales service. This is
Correct.
inherent in each one of us.
Correct.
So for that, whatever needs to get done, whatever needs to get innovated, we are
Yeah.
game on that. So like I said, I'm a bespoke manufacturer, and that's where we get our kicks from. So
Correct.
doing new products is what is our actual core forte.
Correct.
Till today, maybe we have not gone into making that one product 1,000 times, but that is also something we are working within our own company. We've divided SBUs now.
Yeah.
So there is a
Yeah.
leader who's only working on projects. There is a leader who's working only on products. So they both think separate, but we are both working within the same count.
With the gamut of products that you have, I'm sure you must have like so many patents in the products that you have delivered.
So there are about 6 patents we've applied for. Like it takes some time.
Correct.
We also are a small and nimble company.
Mm.
Always with patents, the fear used to be that if you patent, actually the information will go out. Hence, for a long time, we didn't get into it. And because
Correct.
before we had these IT systems in place, we've had experiences where, somebody could steal your drawings or whatever and actually run away. But today it's different. We have a full-fledged firewall. We have a cloud system that is controlled
Okay.
within our walls, within our IT systems. Each and every one is a licensed software.
Wonderful.
And I don't believe in piracy. Since the last 17 years I've been in business, we've never pirated a single software.
Oh. Now, coming to the current unprecedented times, challenging times of COVID-19, how have your company been impacted in terms of the orders that you were supposed to get, or the scheduling of your assembly lines or your product deliveries? I'm sure it's a tough time, but how have you sailed through it, and what are your steps that you have taken that will lead your company to the goals and the targets that you envision?
So I think step one is when COVID happened, nobody could even predict what could be the next steps or what would happen. People were just like, all those pundits are like, who said it will be 14 days as is. That is all, gone. But I think the long term thing is we got to live with things like these. And you don't even know whether this will be the last epidemic because of what are the compulsions in the world. Could be that there are rogue nations wanting to do this. Could be that there are rogue people. We don't even know if China is fully responsible for this or not. I remember reading a Sidney Sheldon book, way back 20 years ago, where there is this guy who wants to reduce the population of the earth, and he uses China as a, he launches something in the name of China, which will go to the US, becomes a full-fledged scale, and the population comes down. So something like that cannot be written off even today. So all we can do is we got to be ready for making our immunity better, learning how to live with the virus, learning maybe currently living with this out so that we work this through. And the new normal, what we're talking about, customers who have never done Zoom in their lives today are like, doing Zoom calls, customers with whom who would not even talk on the phone. We were able to talk. So one good thing is the pause that has happened has helped people build up eating good food at home, working on their own selves, going inward, thinking about things. What is important is actually come out. We've invested this entire time into a lot of learning and training between our own team. And instead of just doing webinars and giving gyan, we actually went deeper. I invested into a trainer from the US who did a 14-day course for us.
Wow.
A lot of money was invested, but I think that
what topic was that?
It was on sales.
On sales, okay.
So because I mean, coming back to your same question, because we kind of forecasted saying sales are going to dry out, and also one more thing is the word crisis in Chinese language means opportunity. So we also need to understand that if you capitalize upon this and if you go ahead, the opportunity exists. We do know that a lot of companies will perish. You can't shy away from that. A lot of companies, a lot of big companies might go bankrupt, like in the aviation industry we've seen. A lot of small companies who are mom and pop shops or 10 people, they might perish because they don't have reserves. And in the middle, a lot of them might perish. But that perishing should not happen because you do not work and make your best efforts. I always tell my team, that take more action than what you did yesterday, because if yesterday it works today, then people will never work on strategy. So today we need to make strategy for what is prevalent for today and work on tomorrow. So the value selling that we are doing to the customer, going and understanding from them and talking, is actually converting. We've bagged orders more in this last 15 days than we have done in 3 months.
Wow.
So we were already due for a recession. Everybody knows it. In January, February, people had already told Corona or no Corona, a recession was coming. Right. So this only hastened it up. This only made it into a game changer. But the fact that you can talk and like on this Sunday, I'm going to be talking on a panel discussion, and we have people from all over the world joining onto it. And I have people who are whose actual turnover is like 4 lakh crores, and me, and this people talking together on the same forum, which was unheard of. So I think the new normal is what even the definition of new normal will keep on changing. Because what is new normal today after 3 months will change.
Correct. So now, while we adopted the technology, and especially the white collar people who were in marketing or sales can do this connection via Zoom or the several other apps. What about the shop floor people? What have you done to keep them engaged, or what is the level or percentage of their involvement at your plant and at your shop floor?
So when we had the breaks, wherein Nandan has paid each and every employee, even when the factory was not working. Now we started the factory, so that's there. But during the April and May and March, whatever time people have not been able to come in, we've given them the salaries. So that is the first thing that I think, as they've been as us long enough that we need to be with them. But at the same time, they also need to understand that the contribution has to come from them. So we were doing frequent town hall talks with them, including the worker, because today everybody has a smartphone. And we were doing town halls. I was making videos, sending it to them, inspiring them to stay healthy, stay safe wherever they are, not go out. And a lot of them actually started sending YouTube videos A welder was sending how to weld better.
Wow.
He was looking for the video and sending it himself on our WhatsApp group.
Wonderful.
A QC guy was going and searching about lean and this and that. So we said, you need to, if I'm paying you salaries, I own your time for that. So rather than, I know you need to go and help your wife in the cooking. That is great. It will help your relations there. But you also need to invest into learning so that, tomorrow when in the company we do appraisals, you can justify that this is a time that you spent rather than sitting at home and watching Netflix.
Got it.
1 or 2 weeks, everybody began like that. There was a barrage of webinars. But then after some time, you realize you get into a webinar fatigue. Not every webinar is worth going. That is where, again, I say, everything that is offered free doesn't have value. So even when you read a book, it is worthwhile for you to go buy a Kindle edition and go buy the paperback rather than going for the PDF, downloading and reading the PDF. Because that gyan will never get into your head because you've cheated and read somebody's hard work.
Sure. Really nice. So
employees do understand, and I think the emotional quotient that people have is a lot more than we, give them. When the industrial revolution began, people were told that you need a whip and you need to whip people into submission and working. But in today's day, unless it's a win-win, which is a win for the customer, win for the company, and win for the employee, in that even if one win goes down, then the other, it's going to be problems for the company's sustenance for sure.
Correct. Fair enough. And since we have also discussed on your plan to grow and your vision to sustain this momentum that you've been, achieving for last 3 months, any plan that you would want to share in terms of your financials goal that you would want to achieve? Where are you currently? At what rate you are growing, or what is your financial target in terms of turnovers? Something that you could share.
So numbers, of course, they're confidential to the company. Can't really talk about it. But one of the things is like aviation used to be about 50% of our turnover. So now it will contribute a big zero. We kind of know it because aviation is not going to come up. But this is something that we had predicted even last year. And we were working towards creating products where the customer wants. So something like a container tilter or a truck mounted crane cannot happen overnight. It has been working on for the last so many months. We've designed a mobile hospital which can be containerized. You take it to a location and it expands into 3 times the size. So these are all market related things that we think that the company will still grow because number one, our processes are very strong. Number two, our basic fundamentals are right. So whether it's a bank or whether it's my customers, they will stand with us because they know we are not out here to run away. And third is, of course, people, because our people are there, they're empowered. There is an ownership that people see and they feel they want to come and work and grow. So year on year, this will be definitely a hiccup. But internally, we've taken a target saying we don't want to drop. We want to grow and we want to grow faster than what we were growing last year. That is the internal target we've set up.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Raghunandan, for joining us at Motor India Trans Report. Like you said, while there are some industries that are, not doing great, but there are other opportunities in truck-mounted applications or even mobile vans that you spoke about. So I'll, tell my viewers to come back to Motor India Trans Report for interesting videos and interviews like this. And thanks once again for joining us. Thank you for your time.
Much.
Pleasure discussing with you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Dreams shape vision. Vision shapes people. People shape possibilities. Possibilities shape futures. Welcome to the future of specialized handling systems at Nandan GSE. With humble beginnings in Mumbai in 1991, we at Nandan GSE have earned the pride of place in the hearts of our patrons and stakeholders.
Team Nandan is a group of passionate professionals whose core purpose is to improve your productivity, performance and safety. Our overall mission is to help save mankind by making the workplace a safer place. We've been delivering consistent value to customers by getting down to the root cause of the problems and then giving the optimized solution for it.
At Nandan GSE, we design and manufacture products that offer solution to the aviation industry, plant handling, aerospace, defense system, innovative car parking solutions, truck loading and unloading.
We have done handling systems for all kinds of cargoes, whether they're boxes, pallets, gunny bags, missiles, and even an elephant.
The stringent quality checks ensures that the truck and container loading solutions employ minimum manpower and yield maximum productivity.
Today, taking care of the environment and the community is equally important. Nandan has invested cutting-edge tools so that we are able to work on electric equipment, electric vehicles, conserve energy for the customer in various forms, and at the end of the day, optimize their operations.
The industrial spectrum is expanding, and so are the requirements. The one-size-fits-all solution has become archaic, and the industries are looking for bespoke solutions. At Nandan GSE, our well-designed processes and sound infrastructure assures you of customized solutions that exceed expectations.
We are working hard and smart to be a nimble and an agile organization so that we can pass on value to you towards the life cycle of our engagement, and we would want to be your trusted advisors in productivity, performance and safety. We have delivered consistent value all over India and also few parts around the world, and today we believe we are open and ready for a Make in India, Make for the World scenario by tying up with global leaders so that we can make it out here.
The bedrock of success for any company lies in its people. At Nandan, our extensive investment in our people, process and infrastructure makes us one of the most reliable names across the nation. Our sales teams works on all your requirements, documents them and transforms them into solution. Our design team documents your requirements and offers you the most relevant solution to your problem along with aesthetic appeal. We design in 3D modeling and prototyping, which is at par with modern international benchmarks. The key to quality of every company is well-trained fabrication personnel, machine and processes that ensures right product at the right time.
We have been awarded for innovation multiple times over, and we have been recognized with testimonials from business leaders from all over India, which makes us believe that we are capable of doing more. While we've delivered in India and a few countries around, today we believe our processes, our people as well as our infrastructure is totally geared towards Make in India, Make for the World. With that in mind, we look forward to growing and helping you grow.
ISO 9001 and ISO 14000 and ISO 18000 certified company, we at Nandan GSE ensure that each product undergoes quality check, and what you get is the unparalleled Nandan standard. Our after-sales service lasts till the product's entire life. We also offer AMC so that the equipment has minimal downtime. Nandan has invested a lot in learning and training, which is a cornerstone of our growth. Mr. J.C. Kumar, the founder of Nandan GSE, is like a father figure to the company. Mr. Raghunandan Jagdish is an MS in Mechanical Engineering from Texas A&M University, who has taken the mantle of Nandan GSE to the next level. Each of our team member has actively contributed to the Nandan GSE growth story and shall continue to make the company future ready. Nandan GSE, the future of specialized handling systems.